So we're here at the Colorado School of Mines Crit, the season opener for Colorado racing. I've got Tayne and Cole here besides me, Henry York from Team Rio Grande. We're going to go through this race. There's a huge crosswind. You can see in the top right corner the profile of this crit course. It's really simple, no real turns, just straight up crosswind action. We're going downhill to start. See, we're at 38 miles per hour. We're about to take a left right into the crosswind on a gradual uphill crosswind, which is going to make this course super brutal today. You can see people are already attacking, trying to jump ahead and get into a good position to get into the starting echelon. Got Gabe right here in front of Jade. Jade is the GoPro we're using today. He's also another teammate.
I think we also had Alex here.
Yeah, we also had Alex here. So we had a
Lucas
five-man
Huseman.
squad,
Lucas.
and there's going to be quite a few strong teams and numbers today. There's a Chalet with about five guys, CU Boulder, and CSU with about five guys. That's two of the top collegiate teams in the country. Primal also has five guys, so state champions, national champions on all those teams. So it's going to be a good race. About 55 to 60 riders total. You can see here we've already got splits going on. We're putting out big watts with Jade going to 400, 500 watts out here in the wind.
Jay's a little guy, so that's a pretty big number for him.
Yeah, pretty big number. But of course, this is the start of the race. Everyone's really fresh, so these moves aren't really going to do anything. But it is going to hurt the guys who are lined out, not in an echelon. But Jade's got so many watts, he's just going to do 600 to get to the front.
He knows the wind's really hard, so he's trying to stay near the front because it's pretty clear that this race is just about to explode.
Yeah. And before the race, we were communicating about trying to get good numbers into the moves, and so Jade's doing a great job trying to cover this initial move going off the front. And now we're taking the top turn, and guess what? You're still in a crosswind, but now it's on the other side. So if you got a good draft going one way, all of a sudden it flips, and now the opposite side has a good draft. But Jade's just going crazy here with the numbers. He's already at 180 ppm.
I think this is me and Ian Anderson sending a flyer on that first lap.
Yeah, that's Tane
Yeah.
sending a flyer, and this is great. We wanted two people in the break to get a numbers advantage. We were pretty confident we could do that with the shape our riders are in. But yeah, Jade bridges on up there, and we got three guys in this move. People are going to come back here shortly. It's the beginning of the race, so people are still getting on. But this is going to do huge damage to the Peloton.
And Ian's a guy we definitely wanted to work with. Ian's a huge engine, former ETT Natty champ. He's won the individual pursuit, collegiate and elite level. Like he's got watts to spend for sure.
Yeah, so good guy to have in the break with you.
Coming over this like start finish on that first turn there, putting a couple of really fast pedal strokes down and making sure you're on the wheel played a big role because this is super fast going into like turn two.
But this was also the only
Yeah.
actual rest on the course.
Yeah.
Everything else was just pinned.
Yeah. So if you
Yeah.
played it smart, you could. Take
Yeah,
some
there I
time.
come rolling through again. Ben Stokes and Luke Mather, they stay at the front for the rest of the race. Like the guys that are in frame right now are the big players.
And after this first lap, we've already cut away half of the Peloton.
This is where I've lost track of the fact that we were turning and almost went off the road.
That turn was super fast, and you immediately hit a crosswind, like kind of a head
Yeah.
cross.
Yep.
Going into this like slight uphill and then the chicane. So if you took that first turn really well, then you could save a lot of energy. But if not, then this is a really hard section. You see everybody's guttering on this.
Yeah, this was probably the hardest gutter.
And Jade's he has a perfect draft from this guy from the Air Force Academy. So he's only doing 200 watts in this section, but I guarantee the people behind are doing 400 or 500. You got this weird chicane section too, where you can kind of launch in a tailwind as it turns here. You can see Jade's might be about to
quickly
do that.
speeds up here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he takes that momentum and just keeps on going, putting on the pressure.
But he's also at this point, if I remember correctly, the group was pretty visibly starting to split, so we were staying in the middle of the road to give the front folks enough draft to start forming like an actual front group.
And this was a mistake that Group 2 in the road that was formed shortly made. for some reason, despite the fact that the race was up the road, people were kind of guttering each other. In that second group, I think probably just in the mode for racing, and obviously couldn't really close the gap for a while, but it was tough in that uphill section there. And then, as Henry said, like you turn that corner and the wind switches, and all of a
Yep.
sudden, if you had a draft, you do not anymore.
And it immediately it bunched up here, and immediately someone attacked. You can see it never lets off. As soon as it bunches up, somebody smells blood in the water. So we got a solo rider. That's actually Luke Matter.
Yeah.
No, Bruce Fitzy went up the road. Yeah,
Right,
Luke Mather's right in
Bruce.
the frame.
Oh, yep,
Bruce.
Bruce. Yep, yeah.
But it's mostly together right now. I think there was a bit of a reshuffling after this, like second at the end of this second lap.
Yeah,
And
this is 3 laps in.
yeah,
Something like that.
And you can see we're not responding to this because it's a single rider, and we're super confident that's just going to get pulled back.
It's pretty clear at this point that everyone's just going to keep hammering once we come into that crosswind at the bottom. So like just one person out the front, really, they're not going to survive, at least at this
No,
point
of
in the
course.
race.
And on this downhill, the group's going to go so fast, and then we're going to swing into the crosswind, and people are just going to smash. So it's going to be hard to get away as a single rider.
Oh, it's Groove here as well. That's Sam Redding, I think.
Yeah, Sam ended up being
He's
really,
riding really well.
really
Yeah.
strong, but really, what I guess group dynamic wise, kind of struggled in this race. Yeah, he definitely had the fitness though to stay in.
Yeah, here we go. About to take that bottom turn, and fireworks are about to go off again.
That may have been the slowest we took that turn all day, actually.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
ended up. I think the max speeds
You can
I
see it,
heard was
yeah.
like 45 miles an hour hitting that bottom
Yeah.
turn.
It's maybe a 2%, 1% grade. You
Yeah.
know, it's not
Not
that
steep
steep
and it's
of a
not
downhill.
long.
Yeah, so then
Yeah.
you can see
Yeah.
I go off on the left because everyone's bunching up kind of too much, and it's pretty clear
And
that we
Cole
need to go.
follows perfectly to try and set up 2 in the breakaway, which is our goal today. We didn't have a sprinter, so we were trying to stack the breakaway with strong riders and then eventually go solo.
I think everybody jumped right there as I was going by,
Yeah.
though, so
Yeah.
it didn't string out too
Jade's
much.
putting out big watts there, just single file. Now he's caught on, so he's in the draft here into the headwind for this brief part of the echelon. But yeah, and that gets pulled back.
This thing coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Bryce is right up here about
Yeah.
to get caught. So
Yep.
break neutralized, and we're about to have another reshuffle here.
Yeah, when you put on the pressure too in the crosswind, everyone else has to go hard too. So these attacks are not wasting as much energy as you normally would with an attack.
Oh, someone squeezed by and
Yeah,
so-
you get a reaction.
This is when I think Gabe goes up the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have another rider following this, which is perfect. And you can see Tayne also goes with it to try and again get good numbers in that move.
Yeah, and I think this is about the point that the final group I think really starts to form in this next lap. This is where there's a lot of people that did this race and started too far in the back. Like
Yeah.
this course usually is just a bunch sprint. It's not a technical course, so like getting breakaways very rarely goes. But because of the wind, it caught a lot of people out. So there's a lot of people like not at the front trying to get up. And everyone at the front is just most of these guys are aware of that, and so we're just trying to drop all the dead weight.
Jade just did a huge WAP bomb to try and catch on to this move. That's just going up the
It's
road now. Was that you, Cole, who
No,
went with
it
that,
wasn't
or-
a car. I just came back through.
must
I'm
have
not sure
been
if
must
it
have
was
been
Alex
Tayne.
or Gabe.
Yeah, I put in a lot of effort in these first couple laps to
This might have been
really
when I
rip
went,
this group
actually.
apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. And actually that's me going off the front now.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going off the front with Ben Stopes from Kelly Benefits and a Primal Rider. So that's only one other big team represented, and then Ben Stokes is just a really strong individual rider.
For
So that's
benefits.
that breakaway is probably doomed. But what I'm doing up there right now is I'm just going to ride, not commit fully, and kind of just wear out those 2 riders and reset and get a better group together. Hopefully, and the plan was hopefully to have our riders rest a bit while I'm up there. But I think you can see this breakaway, and you can see the crazy crosswinds from that image as well.
Mhm.
Um, But here it gets pulled back about 20 minutes later. Um, uh, because it wasn't like all the groups weren't really represented, and actually our guys were pulling a bit too because they recognized it wasn't a winning situation in that move. Although they should have been resting really.
I think this formation. I think the break you're talking about happens later. I think this is the formation where
No, we
you
just caught
attack.
him.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, we just caught him because I cut 20 minutes ahead
okay.
from that breakaway, but that
Because
was like the early break.
there was definitely a point where you were off the front and we looked back and like the top 10 people had separation,
Right.
and so we all just started rotating through to just make sure we had a front group that was just like the top 15 that ended up doing the whole race
And
together.
I think this is the
Yep.
selection. This is
Yeah,
like the
this is
front
it.
right.
Yeah.
You can see
Yep.
everybody's working really well together in this front group.
And as we go
in
around this corner,
section.
we
And
all
switches.
flip sides, and
Yeah.
for a while we were doing pretty well with the echelon at the front, like
Yeah.
actually switching sides and giving everyone space.
And there's only 10 or 12 riders left at this point. We got Jade, Tayne, and I
Yeah.
up here in this move. So we
And
got good
Lucas
representation.
and Lucas was here for a while.
And Lucas, but he's racing for his college team, CSU. They're obviously he's going to work with us more than other teams, but he's also thinking about his college team.
So I think at this point in the race, it was this front group and then this second group right behind that kind of dangled like maybe 10, 20 seconds back for the rest of the race. And there's a huge difference, like I mentioned, between the way that this group was riding and the way that we were riding behind, which made a big difference. I think for a while, obviously, this group looks like they're working really well together in the wind, and this wasn't going on so much in the chase.
Yeah.
But
And
obviously
it won't last for
No,
sure up
no.
in this big group. So we just pull back a breakaway, and everyone's kind of resetting and waiting for this brief rest and saving their bullets, and then going to attack right in the crosswind.
Right.
So even in this front group, it didn't really the cohesiveness didn't last. But yeah, we'll see in this next crosswind section. I think we'll have a few more attacks. We're actually getting a slight
Big
break
gap,
here
yeah.
on the descent. But it's pretty fast with the tailwind, and that'll come back together.
And this is what I was saying. If you carry speed into that descent, it makes a big difference. So I think now the split is there's Ethan Overson, also Luke Mather. This is
This is an
This is
attack
Lucas
here from
attacking,
Lucas
Lucas.
attacking.
We got Jade right on there.
Yeah, this was in this middle section. It was really everyone on this specific section of the course. This is where we were all giving it a dig, just to see if we could thin the
Yeah.
group out a little bit more. And really, really, we only thinned it out. I don't know, one or two extra people for most of the race. For most of the time, and it was only in the last maybe 5 laps that the true final selection of 5-ish riders.
But here goes Tayne, perfect counter to Lucas and Jade's attack.
And this is what Henry was saying. That little corner right there, if you get a jump on it, then you have just a bit of a tailwind right going into that uphill that can be really, really useful. So Tayne used that great. And then Luke Mather's following, I believe, and there goes
Connor Mullery.
Yep.
Yep.
There goes Ben. And at this point, everyone's just jumping in.
Yep.
And Lucas.
Very difficult. And here's Jade and I. We miss this jump a little bit, and we're just trying to pull it back because it's not a good situation to have 1 out of 6 riders, even if it's Tayne, who's one of our stronger riders. So we're going to work together a bit to pull this back because we were just caught out a bit there. So it would have been better if I had countered and gone with that. But I think I was maybe a little tired at this point. So I'm going to pull back Jade, who's probably a better chance of winning. And I'm going to pull up to Tayne here, and in a second, he's going to come back and ask me how I'm doing. And the answer is I'm hurting. Like everybody was really hurting at this point because we just had a few really hard attacks, counters.
Slows down a lot here.
Yeah, and so Tayne, I'm going to talk to Tayne and say, okay, Tayne's going to tell me to do one more big attack to try and force put pressure on the other riders so that Tayne can try and counter for the win or Jade. You can see it. It's pretty hard doing 400 watts here in this crosswind after going hard the whole race. It was just nonstop sort of pain. Just single file still, but it's slowing down now.
There's a couple of lap riders coming back, I think.
They realize they're going down to the descent.
Yeah, this is where we had that little conversation.
Yeah, there's a
I
conversation.
think I talked to both Jade and Henry. Henry is doing a little worse for wear. Jade was a little bit better than Henry.
Yeah, but there's maybe 10 guys left. It's and we're coming down into the last 20 minutes of the race here, so everyone's a little tired, but also this is where you're going to make the
Reshuffling
move
here.
that can win. So, yeah.
And at this point, we've raced with a lot of the guys in this group. So we know like Ethan Overson, Colin Mullery, they could probably beat us in a sprint most days. Granted, it's been a really hard race, but a sprint is definitely not something I think any of us really want because out of the three of us, Henry probably has the best sprint, but Henry's already pretty cooked. So the goal at this point is really, try and get away solo or in like a smaller group without one of the sprinters.
Yeah, 600 watts going into this turn. Um,
Jade apparently was one of those fellas who could pedal through that turn. Good talent.
yeah. You can see here, I'm
Yep.
just going to launch. Everybody slows up, and it's a perfect time to go.
I was right on his wheel. It was perfect, so I could just let the wheel go.
Yep. And unfortunately, no one went with me, so I'm just going to suffer out there alone. But it'll force the other guys to pull it back, and hopefully our guys can rest a bit and then get a counter in. See, no one's really reacting right now because it's just me. So they're like, "Oh, it's just an individual rider," and they're all looking at each other for someone to pull it back because they don't see an immediate threat, and they're hoping someone else. Everyone looks at each other, and
But
it looks like someone's bitten now.
everyone's also pretty cooked at this point too.
That too, yeah. It was one of the hardest laps. Was the last lap before this, so yeah, everyone's hurting. But we got somebody pulling up there. Who is that in blue?
I don't remember who that is actually.
Think.
Yeah, well, sorry, dude, in the blue. We can't remember, but good job. But yeah, you could see Jade and Tayne were just chilling and forcing the other guys to hurt, which is great.
Yeah. And like we knew someone was gonna jump. Like you could feel the tension in the air. Everyone had put in a lot of effort, so like no one really wanted to commit too early. But it was definitely like if we just let a guy go, they could stay away even if they were just dead.
Henry's still off the front here.
Yeah, I'm gonna be off the front here for maybe a couple laps. And Tayne and Jade are just gonna chill and everybody else work, which is just perfect.
Oh, it's Cyrus in the blue.
Oh yeah, Cyrus, two-time collegiate national champ,
former Rio
rider, traitor, in other words. No, I'm just kidding. We all love Cyrus. Yeah, but there's only 7 guys now in this group, and then 8 with me off the front, maybe. It's really whittled down, which is strange for a crit. 55 starting riders. You normally would have, I don't know, maybe 40 would finish a crit with, that's not super technical like this. But with the crosswinds here, maybe 30 miles per hour, it makes the race so hard.
I think this might be where does Ben jump here?
Yeah,
I think this is when Ben jumps.
Yeah,
and this is where Lucas he leans over and he's like, "You don't want to let that go. That guy's fast."
Yeah,
and yep. And then I don't remember who that is.
Connor, I think
it might be Connor. Yeah.
You saw it slow down there. Cooperation broke down, so the other riders knew they had to attack.
And I think this was a point when I looked at Jade, and I think Jade looked at me and he asked, "Do we like this?" And I just looked at him. I said, "No,
definitely do not."
Like, because at this point, yes, Henry's up the road. But this was like one of his last attacks, and so those two guys are definitely going to be way fresher.
Yeah. Yeah, so Tayne and Jade here will start working to pull this back as well.
But we get the other guys to try and go first.
Yeah, unfortunately, a couple of these riders are kind of on their own without any teammates in this front group, and so they kind of were forced to do some extra work. So a little more bluff, I think, here.
And you can see here, I was not hitting that corner very well. Almost every lap, I had to leave a gap. First race, proper race of the year, I was kind of struggling.
But here we got Luke, I think, is on the front. He's riding really strong in this race and all year, honestly. And then Ethan's third or fourth wheel, Sam Redding doing really well. Some of these guys really just always do well at this race. And Sam's one of them.
Yep. This is great. Yeah, you guys are they're still working, even though this is a threat to us. Just because we have a rider up the road, you can kind of make the other riders work a bit more, even though we're going to probably help out here, I think.
I think this is when you get brought back. Didn't you get popped?
Yeah, I get dropped. They came by me really fast and I was cooked. So there I am. You'll never see me again. My race is done. It's up to Tayne and Jade to finish this off.
And at this point, it ends up being that Ben Stokes is the one that stays off the front. We end up getting Connor Mullerby back. And then in that last chicane, on the last lap. We were all kind of attacking through, and it's on that last lap that I sent a flyer through that chicane to try and catch Ben. And you see in the next video that I get within like half a bike length of him. I almost timed it right, but didn't quite have it there at the end.
Come on! Come on!